Hi, Armand here from G-Skills and another podcast today.
Yeah.
So, what's the story? What are we going to do?
Yeah, we're going to talk about what is the Qigong approach on eating.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we're coming from a point where on one side, I think most people realize that, well, the better your food, the quality of your food,
Yeah.
the better it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
But the other part, now we're talking more about you, the receiver end.
Yes.
The not only the receiver, the preparator, the person who's actually going to prepare the food and cook the food, etc. So we're talking about that part mostly now.
Yeah.
In this podcast, and I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah. What can you do to benefit as much as possible from the things you eat?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and where does that start?
I think what's very important is the realization that the food that you eat is energy, and
A carrot.
yeah,
It's energy. It's orange energy.
all energy, and you are energy.
Yep.
And how do you? What can you do to blend these energies?
Yeah, because there's a sort of an alchemical process going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the food you're eating is becoming you
Yeah.
in the process. So you are the result. Your energy is the result of what you're eating.
Yeah. And especially what you digest. But that's another story.
No. Repeat that, please, because I think people need to know that.
Oh yeah. So it's all about the food that if you cannot digest it well, it cannot become you.
It will go through you.
Yeah, or be
And we've
stored,
all experienced that.
or be stored somewhere in you to be used at a moment that your body thinks, now I can use that. Or, or it's stored somewhere where you really don't want it to be stored.
Yeah, so it's really important that we realize that the digestion part is the bridge between the energy that you find in the supermarket or in the grocers or whatever, and then becoming you.
Yes.
What's in between is digestion.
Yeah.
So without the digestion,
there's
who are you then?
Yeah.
Right?
And
Okay.
and it's always, and that's something I always tell my clients, I can see from what they eat what kind of disbalances they have.
Right.
So mostly.
But also, and more importantly,
Yeah.
is, and that's what we're going to go into
Yeah.
now, is the whole process that goes in front of the eating. I mean, it's not, we're not eating yet. So,
no, we start, but it's the realization.
Yeah.
So with food is the basics, and this is your vital energy that you're building. And you can do this on so many layers.
Yeah.
And it's good to realize, to really deep inside of you realize what food can do for you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I think maybe to go back, because in preparation of this podcast, we listened to a video watched a video of Mark Rasmus about the hermetic view
on eating, food and everything. Yeah.
And it was really beautiful because he took it even a step further, saying, if you sit there with your food, realize where the food is coming from. Yep. So not just where you bought it in a supermarket or a farmer's market or wherever, but it was a farmer who planted the seed
in the ground,
who nurtured it and let it grow. But before the seed, it was in a plant, and so on and so on.
And the plant needs the environment, it needs the soil, but it also needs the sun, right? And without the sun, no food on your table.
Yeah.
Right?
And the sun is the source of all. So if you want to look back, and if you want to be thankful for your food, the sun is the source.
Yeah, the source of all life.
Yeah. But on the other side, if you eat the food, it becomes part of you and it becomes a part of your journey.
Wow, and that's so beautiful, isn't it? That you can go that way back, so that the next time you have a spoonful of soup and you look at it, you're like, wow, this is actually old.
And it makes
and it
you...
doesn't. I don't mean old, and it's like it's beyond the expiring date. This is probably a language thing. But what I mean is, this plant had a seed, and the seed comes from a plant, and this plant comes from a seed, and how long does that go back? It's incredible.
And
when
it's
you think
the
about
same
it.
with you.
And the same with you. You're like a medium, right?
Yeah.
It goes through you,
Yeah.
and it becomes you, and it becomes your doing. It becomes your dreams. It becomes your,
and part of eternity.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and where will you be after this life? Where will you go to? And the food that you eat will become part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is very deep.
Yeah.
But it made me realize, it's even further. It's everything around you is your how do you say this? You're part of the universe.
Yeah, it's an ever-changing, evolving.
And all around you is energy, and you're absorbing energy.
Yeah.
So it makes it much more complete and
it puts
connected.
it in a large perspective, right? A more holistic approach to not just having a bite and then eat and that's it, right? So that's what this is all about. So let's start at what we can do and start with preparation.
Yeah, because we went really deep in the first 5 minutes already.
Yeah. We're done.
We're done. No. So it all starts with the preparation. It all starts where do you buy your food? Make that conscious decision.
Yeah.
When we first got married, I would just buy the things that my mom would buy, because that was where I grew up with, and
it's what you know.
And that's what you know. But in time, I started to really think about what do we eat, and nowadays mostly we get from organic food.
Yeah. So that it starts with the realization, what we just talked about, is that the food is becoming you.
Yeah.
Right? So who you want to be, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really important. And so we decided to go biological completely, right?
Yeah.
It's organic. It's the only thing we eat.
Yeah. And also, of course, we have our garden here with all the herbs and especially, in this season there's not too much growing, but we'll nurture and love our plants and put that in our food, which makes it more part of us.
Yeah. So the highest quality you can afford is the most important, right? Because it's going to become you. So
So that's the and the connection with the food. Where does it come from? Does it feel good? And also the taste and all the different products that you can blend together.
Well, I think that's probably for another podcast, but of course having a method is very important here, right? It's just knowing what do you digest well, what are the kinds of food that's going to help you, et cetera, et cetera. But that's another podcast, because I want to focus more on,
But then you're going to cook.
Exactly.
And how do you cook? Do you have a nice space where you can, where you feel good? Our kitchen is the center of the house, and
it's over there. That's why I'm looking there.
We're looking at our kitchen, but it's if I cook, for me, cooking is always a time of relax. Well, not always, but most of the time I get into a relaxed state. I love cooking, so I like to really put my love and attention in the cooking while I'm cooking.
I think we've learned that as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking really the time to cook things. It's breaking into a circle. Like, okay, this feels better. The food is received better. So this much attention and how do you say, the state of mind almost that you have while cooking has become such a normal thing for us now. Is that it's a state of relaxation. Really.
Yeah. And it's funny while you say this, because when we first got together, I had all sorts of cookbooks, but we would not cook from cookbooks all the time, and we would still use some pre-cooked ingredients. Like if we made a pasta, the sauce would come from a can or something, but that changed. While we're married, we cooked a lot more. Jamie Oliver was a great inspiration to start to cook from scratch. And so it came more and more and more into our lives to really take time for cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have this focus. And I think it takes some time to make the shift I was talking about. It's like, this feels so much better. So it's a natural progression, I think, that it went into, and awesome. I mean, it's
And I think I remember one time, because when I lived in Thailand with a Thai family, I was an exchange student, and they got up every morning very early to go to the market to get the food and then to prepare the food as a family. Most of the days I was a bit too lazy to get involved in the process, and they were so in tune with each other that they sometimes, if I was up, they made me sit in the corner and just look at them. But when I did help, my host sister was like, "Oh, no, you don't do this right. You have to cut it all precisely and don't rush it."
Yeah.
I would like, oh.
We're so used to being hasty all the time, and they take their time.
Yeah.
But you could also see in her, it's like, well, she visited us in Holland, and she would make sure she was way up before we got up and preparing the food, because she didn't trust us.
No, she didn't.
Nope. She was looking at us in shock sometimes. It's like, why are these people so hasty with the not concentrated? Well, that was because of our energy level. So that's the cycle, right? So the more gain you get from the better food and the preparation, the more energy you have. And to always make a conscious decision is like, oh, I'm feeling a bit tired now, but I'm still gonna cook and take my time to make something that's gonna help me move forward, right? Instead of when you have lower energy, you'll be hasty or decide to go for quicker food, and that mostly means bad food, right? So I think that was a huge shift in the preparation. But you need energy for preparation.
Absolutely.
You need it. But from this preparation comes more energy.
Yeah. So it's a cycle.
It's a cycle. Yeah. Hope that helps,
Yeah. And I do remember when I was young, we would sing in the kitchen while preparing. We don't do that actually, Irma. We don't really sing to our food or chant or...
We're going to do that again, right?
We can try that.
We'll try different styles of music, and some Metallica, and then the next day some Mozart. And then...
that sounds better. Yeah. So, and then you prepared your food.
Yeah.
And you sit at the table, you sit down, and then it's a good time to really focus on the food before you start eating it. In all cultures, there is praying is something,
ritual,
a ritual that you do before really eating.
I still grew up with that a little bit. I mean, we sort of lost it when I was young, but it was really praying coming from a Christian background. But we sort of lost that, right? Along the way.
And I think, that was the same for us. we lost that as well.
But no one ever explained to me what we were actually doing.
No.
Right? It was more like, okay, everyone was closing their eyes, the adults did, and then the children would just glance around and trying to hold their laughing, right?
Yeah.
But no one told us what we're about to tell you.
Yeah.
And this might be one of the most important parts of the whole podcast, right?
And I think we had this prayer that I didn't really understand.
Right.
It was to just later when I was grown up, I would understand the words that we were saying. It was different. Sometimes you see people holding hands and saying, thank you for the food that we have on our table. But we would say like a prepared prayer. I don't know how
it's like a standard thing that you would say, right?
Yeah.
Although I remember my grandfather, who was really into it, he would start, reciting some part of the Bible, and everyone was like,
"The food is getting cold."
Yeah. But God bless him, right?
Yeah.
But
I think this is not the message that you that we promote praying as such, but it is this moment to get into a quiet space, to get into a space where you make room for eating. And when you just worked or you did other activities before eating, this gives you this time to kind of tune out.
Bridge it, right? You bridge from one state to another state and prepare for receiving the food.
Yeah.
And, well, as Mark was saying also, like in a busy restaurant and going out with friends, which is not happening at this moment, but
no.
That's really hard, right?
Yeah.
But in home situations, in your regular routine with food, it's actually very good to, and this is, I think, very important, is with what intention are you gonna take the food?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what praying actually means, right? So you're thankful for the food. You go back to the sun, as Mark said. You go back, and then, but you also go in front. It's like, how do you want this food to be received, and what do you want the food to do? Because if you're working, let's say, you're Qigong people or meditation people, it's like you're working on stillness. You're working on a certain thing. You want to build energy. You want to build an intention. This food can help you do that, but you can also send it that way. You can say, may this food help me becoming a master of stillness or becoming a master of meditation or whatever, make me realize what my purpose is or something. Big questions like that. Your food can actually help you because food is energy, and your mental body can help shift this to a clear intention, and then don't be surprised if it works.
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing.
Beautiful.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we've experimented with that, and that's law of attraction.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. That's where the magic is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And since training hermetics, also with Mark Rasmus, this has become normal, right? So that's it. I mean, and I think this is one of the most important things, because even if you're in a situation where the food is maybe not of the quality that you would hope it would be, you can still decide to be thankful for it.
Oh, absolutely.
And make sure that you receive it well and give it an intention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not to win the lottery or something like that. But yeah, although, we could try that. No. But you know what I mean. It's for personal success, right? For growing as a human being and helping others and moving forward on your path. This food can actually help you. Yeah. So that's an important thing.
And that's really the Qigong approach.
That's totally Qigong approach.
Yeah.
Everything we've done so far is in this podcast is very Qigong, but this might be the most intentional. Yeah. It's like, okay, everything is intentional here, but this one is special. It's really special.
It's like, oh wow, that really makes a difference.
It's alchemy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it comes from the sun, and it that's where it starts, and then you can direct it somewhere.
Yeah.
To help you move forward in life,
Wow.
We could stop now, right? This could be it, right? So we're not there yet, but
No.
I hope you get the meaning of this. This
is really powerful, and that's why we want to integrate food into your practice, because it's such an important part.
That's why this combination, And with Qigong, we all realize that breath regulates the Qi and everything, but your food, come on, it's huge, you know. So
So you're sitting there. You've done your intention to the thing that you're eating, and then you eat. Normally, we've been taught to taste our food in our mouth. And then it's kind of gone into your body, and it's gone.
But I was like, what's she going to say now? Yeah, I get you.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
It's up to here, and then, then it disappeared until it's...
Well, but then you're busy talking and having a good time, or blah, 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 you know, or watching the TV, or, you know. Yeah. But we're not doing that, right?
No.
But, you know. Yeah.
So it's important to feel. So not important, it's not just what it does in your mouth, it is what it does into your system, for your system, into your body. Where does it go? Where do you feel the energy? Normally, if you're not so intentional, you feel it when it's not going well. You have a stomach ache, or you feel like...
But if that's 2 hours later, you might not even realize that it's connected to what you've been eating. I mean, I'm talking about personal experience here, right? Yeah. I mean, that's where I was once upon a time.
Same here.
But what we're doing actually is that we're observing the digestion process. And that starts with how well is it received? Is this giving me energy?
Yeah.
Or is it taking energy?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Is there like an after dinner dip?
Yeah.
Or is there an after dinner boost? How would you say that? It's like, oh, I feel great. I feel good. This observing is very Qigong. This is very being mindful. And being mindful of all these processes.
Yeah.
It's like, how is it received? How do I feel? How do I sleep?
Yeah.
Am I a lot in my head? Is there more stillness around me? Yeah. All these things are...
And that's exactly why all my clients have to journal. I let them journal for a week on their food, how they feel, how they sleep, how their emotions were during the day. And then you can see, now I understand.
Yep.
If I eat this, I feel unstable, or I feel very angry, or whatever. Or when I eat this, I felt really good.
And that's how they discovered, people, the law of cause and effect.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, right?
It is.
But some people are scared of it.
Yeah.
Some people are scared that you mention a journal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do realize we're not, you know, mindful enough of.
Yeah.
So, but these brave people who come to you and actually do the work, you know, it's so great to see them wake up to that cause and effect thing and making different decisions.
Yeah.
And you help them with that, of course. Yeah.
Exactly. I help them see what they eat and what kind of effect it has on their body, and then they can choose.
I can see. I can see. Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and but if you're very intentional, and if you've practiced this for a longer time, you don't need a journal.
No.
It's just a matter of feeling. And it's feeling just after you've eaten and a couple of hours after. And you can feel where does your food go?
Well, that sort of mindfulness is just normal for you. Just like your regular mindfulness practice, like sitting on your cushion, observing coming and rising of thoughts. That's the same, like the coming of the food and the going of the food, and how it, you know, it's the same thing. It becomes part of your being. Yeah. And then that's also important, I think, is that you realize that you have more choice, conscious choice of going back to where we begin. It's like the preparation, the choices you make. That becomes like a large circle as well, right?
Oh yeah, and you every time you prepared a meal with love and care, there is so much more enjoyment when you eat it.
The tastes.
Because there is all this love and attention that's on your plate, and you smell it, and you've been preparing it, so you've
been preparing this fresh pesto, right? And then and everything's organic in there, and everything is just, and you make it, and you prepare it, and then and you mix it with the pasta.
Yeah.
And you have this first bite, and you're like, if you want to know what's enlightenment, that's a big part of enlightenment, right? Yeah. If the food is so good that it shuts you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
I think we're gonna cook after this podcast.
Yeah. Maybe these people too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then one last thing. So we've been talking about the realization. What does the food do into your body, in your system? Where does it come from, and how does it become part of you? We've been talking about preparation. We've been talking about the rituals before you're eating, like praying or blessing your food.
Oh, wow.
We've been talking about feeling while eating your food, so being very mindful and thankful and aligned with your food while eating. And so there's one more thing, and that is, when do you eat? Is it aligned with the energy around you? And like in the traditional Chinese medicine, and in every traditional nutrition, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. In the morning, you need your energy, and also the stomach and the spleen are the most active in the morning. That's when they want to have the food to digest.
Right, so that they're part of the organ clock, right? Some people might have heard of this.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain a little bit about that. That's like a cycle through 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours, and every organ has a 2-hour time slot where it's most active. And between 7 and 9, it's the stomach in the morning.
Yeah.
And from 9 till 11, it's the spleen. So the spleen in traditional Chinese medicine is the organ for transforming the food into energy, into blood.
Can I say digestion?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to definitely do a whole podcast on the organ clock, because that's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
You're gonna love that, because it gives so much insight and aha moments. That's just crazy. But for now, it's most important that you realize that the stomach and the spleen are most active in the morning.
So that's the biggest meal.
Yeah.
In lunchtime, it's a bit less. And then for dinner, it's just...
eat like a beggar.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done my homework.
You've been reading the books.
I've been married to an expert.
So be mindful when you eat, and of course, think about all these points and try to implement them with what does work for you.
Absolutely.
And it will work magic for you, and to really get aligned with your food.
Wow, it's the ultimate transformation, isn't it? It's just beautiful.
Absolutely, yes.
So, hope you liked it. Like and subscribe if you did.
Yeah.
And thanks for subscribing if you've already done so. And hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah. If any questions, please leave it in the comments, and we'll get back to you.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.